Okay,
You're on.
it's 5:15. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Can I get a second? All in favor? Opposed? Okay, so thanks for being here. The first item on our agenda is approving the minutes from July 15th.
Motion to approve is second.
All in, is there any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Okay, the minutes from July 15th are approved. So the parks usage requests, who is here from Berkshire Grown? Hi. Hi. Thank you so much for being here. Can I ask, do you mind coming forward just a little bit so Carolyn can hear you?
I'll just support her from here.
I got an idea.
Great.
Bring a chair up.
Thank you.
Just grab a chair and bring it up.
So will you introduce yourself and give us a quick rundown of what we're doing this year?
Yeah, so I'm Alyssa. I'm the new farmer's market manager. I've taken over from Martha, who's ran the market, the Berkshire Grown for the last few years. But I've done the Sheffield Farmers Market and the Berkshire Grown Mobile Farmers Market, so I'm excited to take on our winter markets as well. And it's just like we've always done. We are hosting up to 25 vendors, hopefully, in the Housatonic Dome. Either the third or the fourth Saturday of the month, depending, from November to April. The market runs 9 to 1, but we show up 6:37 to roll out the floors, and we're there until 3 or 4 on a long day. And then we'll have hopefully North Plain Farms doing their grilled sausages and selling their products out of their farm truck outside. And we're hoping to bring in the Best Damn Espresso Company this year to also set up outside and sell their coffee. And our local musicians come, farmers, food purveyors, and local craft and artisans. So pretty much same as usual.
Great.
Basically the same as every year.
Yeah. Except that it's 10 to 2. Oh, 10 to 2, sorry.
And in years past, it's been 9 to 1.
It's always been 10
Oh,
to
10 to
2.
2.
It's just that the
Yeah, yeah.
summer markets are 9 to 1
Yeah.
and we did.
Sorry.
Great.
Motion
See,
to
I'm new.
approve.
Second.
Okay, and as for a discussion, I'm wondering, Alyssa, if you saw the, I think last year, Joe, we had a form. Okay.
Well, I'll drop some for this year's on it too.
That'd be great.
And I think it was
250.
$250 a time.
Mhm.
That's up like $59.
Yes.
So same as last year, and the agreement also has expectations for cleanup and
Yep.
breakdown. Sound good?
Perfect.
Can I ask a quick question about the
Yeah,
the
please.
breakdown? So last year, for the first time, we were allowed to use those floor coverings, which was awesome because we didn't have to roll out the paper every time. But it's still a certain amount of work. I think I know the answer to this, but I'm gonna ask anyway. Is there any way that the town can roll those out and or clean them up or roll them back up? Okay. Just thought I'd ask.
No, because after they get rolled up, if usually have to do some sweeping too,
Oh,
because
yeah.
once you roll them,
It's a lot of sweeping. It's fine. We dealt with it. Okay, it just adds a layer.
it's the plastic that's on the big roll behind the stage.
Great. So Joe, maybe that agreement can just be specific about what those expectations are.
I think it is.
Yeah,
Great.
it is.
Garbage and stuff like that.
Perfect. Perfect. Shall we vote? All in favor? Anyone opposed? Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Awesome, appreciate it. See you at the market.
See you at the market.
Yeah.
Rural recovery, please.
Bring the chair.
Thank you.
You don't have to put it back.
Okay, I didn't think so. So we're on here twice, so I'll speak on the global picture. So we're gonna host a International Overdose Awareness Day on August 31st. It's actually 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. The first part, the 6 to 7, will be at the South County Recovery Center at 67 State Road. And then the plan will be to walk down to Castronova / TV Hedge Park and stand out for an hour with candles, not real candles, the little battery operated motors. And we're just gonna stand there and wait the cars. I'll probably bring the sandwich board that we have that's down front, out front of the recovery center. It commemorates the 441 people that we've lost to overdose deaths in Berkshire County since 2013. And I don't anticipate any kind of cleanup at the park. We're just gonna stand there and then at 8 o'clock or 7:45 or so, we'll walk back to the recovery center and then disperse. I would also like to, I seek approval to put LED purple string lights on the GB hedge for that night and preferably for the entire month of September to commemorate National Recovery Month. We'll put a timer. I was thinking probably 6 PM to 6 AM or something like that. I don't know if there's any cost incurred to the town, but if there's an electrical cost, we'll reimburse for that.
So, guys, there are two parks usage request forms in the packet, and that's, the second is the amendment to include those parks lights. Motion, yes,
Here's a
Joe.
question.
Yes,
You said people were gonna, walk there?
Yeah.
Where are they parked?
at the recovery sign,
Oh, okay,
67 State Road.
okay, all
Yeah.
right, because there's very little parking, if any, right?
Yeah, we've gotten quite a few people there and, local neighbors in the area. I'll coordinate with the fire department and Berkshire Biking Board, and there's parking along Mechanic Street. I'll talk to the chief authority and make sure it's all kosher.
Great. Motion to
Make a
approve.
motion to approve, both A and B and C.
Are you plugging the lights in where?
On the GB hedge, apparently, I was told that there's electricity already set up there.
You're gonna, because when, during the winter time.
Yeah.
When Domain is, it's his power.
Okay.
Is that what you're doing? Have you talked to him?
Yeah, I'll talk to Ed.
Okay,
Yeah, I haven't spoken to Ed, but Ed and I have a pretty good relationship. I'm sure he.
no, because there's no power there.
Okay.
per se.
There's an outlet at the base of the.
It's an outlet at the base of
That's
the
what I
park.
thought, yeah.
Hmm?
There's an outlet at the base of the park.
Yeah, but I think it might come from the donation. He's always let us use it.
Whatever.
I'll speak to Ed.
So did I hear a second? Julie seconded. Okay, so, any more discussion about this? Just, assuming that you work with Joe and also Domaines to straighten out the electrical situation. All in favor? Opposed? Great.
So is that both?
Well,
Okay.
you're good, good
Fantastic.
to go.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. That's excellent. Okay, walking our talk, Anne Marie?
So I'm Jana,
Oh, hi, Jana.
Annie couldn't make it, so I'm here on her.
You got thrown to the wolves.
Yep. So she gave me some notes. So this is a small but growing nonprofit that started out in Barrington.
Hold on 1 second. I just want to make sure Carolyn can hear, so go for it now. Yep,
Um.
Go
so-
for it.
Okay, so we're a small but growing nonprofit. It's like a women's support group. We have circles all over Berkshire County, but we're really based here in Great Barrington. And we've had these informal walks. But what we'd really like to do is use the gazebo as a place to start our walk. And then go up along the river walk and then return back.
So I see on here, so this is a Sunday, 12:30 to 3.
Yep, yes.
I see on here some refreshments and also music. Say, can you tell us a little bit about that?
The music won't be happening because of the conflict in date.
Okay,
So it will be used for, let's see, she has water, donuts, prepackaged, maybe baked goods from a store, something like that.
so I think any food has to go through Board of Health. Is that true? Not if it's prepackaged?
Prepackaged.
Okay.
Something that's being prepared on site, then it is.
Okay,
Okay, so we will not be doing that.
and I'm wondering if this is gonna be a lot of people walking, if you've been in touch with anyone.
We're thinking probably about 25 people.
Okay.
I don't know if that's considered a lot or not, but it's usually a pretty small. What we'd like is just, for people to see who we are. It could also, people could just join the walk if they wanted, if they saw us walking, but like going for a stroll with their family or something like that. But
Yeah, anyone have questions or?
Because you're responsible for any garbage, just take it with you. And
Okay,
Is there gonna be signage at the park?
we will, let's see. I think, we're gonna have a table with rat cards in case anybody wants to check us out, and we have a banner.
Does the banner go with you when you're walking? Or is it?
No, it'll stay in the gazebo.
so you just like tie it onto the gazebo.
Mhm. And we'll have probably a couple of people who aren't able to walk, be at the gazebo, just to sort of man the table and.
Nice.
And this doesn't conflict with anything else we've.
As far as I know, it does not. Motion to
Motion
approve,
to approve.
Section.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you so
Great,
much.
thank you.
Excellent. Okay, Old Maids. So I'd like to just start the conversation about Old Maids. Some of us were able to meet there today and we did not discuss it. And I'm assuming that this will stay on the agenda for a little while. So this is just initial overarching feelings about Old Maids and what we found, and also questions for Joe. Anything that didn't get asked.
Okay, one thing I did do today, I wish I had thought about it sooner, like over the weekend. On the Housatonic Neighbors Facebook page. I just put a thing on that says, just asking what people feel of, do you use Old Maids? If you do, what do you like about it? What's it need? If you don't, why not, kind of thing. And already today, there's been like 35 responses. So instead of trying to go through and decide from the Housatonic Neighbors on Facebook, you can see it there.
Great,
One of the things that the first 2 or 3 people that responded is it is a dog friendly area and there is no poop station. That they would, like to see.
so would that be something that we would have in stock, as they say?
Maybe not, but it's not gonna get one.
Okay, I think that would be great.
And then the rest of you can just go through and see what some of the responses. One of the big things is glass in the water, glass in the water, glass in the water. And a few people did comment that they don't swim in the main part, but they go below the dam. And the path getting down to there isn't that great.
Great,
Right, you know, so.
excellent. I wonder if you would be willing to sort of monitor that board and for the next meeting, come back with anything that you feel like would be helpful for us
Absolutely.
for this next stage. That'd be really great. Julie, any thoughts? I know you weren't with us at the,
I was just wondering, where we are with the dam removal proposal.
yeah, so Joe was telling us a little bit about it when we were there, that there was a request from either a state or, you want to say more?
Yeah, it was a state agency that I think approached Chris with, had some, a lead on some federal money or a grant for some federal money. So we discussed that probably more than a year ago. And we sent a letter to Chris that he could send to the state agency to go for this grant. To this day, we have heard nothing back. But the intentions were to restore that to more of a stream bed, which would involve cleaning up that dam area. We don't know anything more than that. We're waiting to see what came up with plans.
Would the town be responsible for cleaning up glass litter, for instance, like in the water, or is that something completely separate from our?
Yeah, I don't know how we're gonna do that.
That would be a problem for usage.
I'm gonna put it on my list to ask Chris about, but would you also follow up with him? If we could even just get a name of the agency that was inquiring, then maybe it's worth reaching out. Great. Steve, any thoughts? Good. Paul,
No,
Bill?
I think the park is wonderful. We should really think about using it, you know, in any way we can
Great, using it now and using it.
in the future. You know, and like improving it. I mean, I think you know, if we could really work on that dam, if we got approval to do that, I think it would really be a nice thing, you know, a nice addition to our parks.
Great. Tom?
Yeah, I remember going there with some other volunteers from Housatonic years ago, just trying to break out that beach area a little bit. It was actually looked a lot worse then, but I mean, and you know, which gets us into the discussion of finding glass and stuff like that. But, you know, as I now know, I mean, there's really no way, there's no way that people can do that, right? I mean, there's no, I mean, because it is a river or wetlands, so basically citizens don't have a right to go in there. I mean, I'm asking this as much to Joe for his opinion.
I'm not sure I'm following the question.
Well, like,
exactly.
you know, where the, like, well, up at Lake Mansfield, you know, the lake, the sand bottom is raked and cleaned every year, right? I mean,
No.
No,
the swimming, you just put more sand down.
Just the beach area,
Just the-
Yeah,
but not in the
but
water.
not in the water, just the actual beach above the water.
Yeah,
There are mats up at Lake Mansfield that get reset. every
There's mats.
but that's weed.
Controlling the outside of the area. But you know, it's like with usage, like if people were in that water, a lot of that sediment would get washed away because it would float up. You know, there's just not as many people using Old Main.
Well, it's just the dangerous debris that's been the concern, you know?
Yes,
And I don't know if there's any way that we can mitigate that.
yeah, I think it's a real issue and that we should keep it on the top of our
Figure out
minds.
how we can figure out how to do this.
Yeah.
And the only other thing is that we mentioned where that there was, I don't know, where it isn't a walkway, but at that lower section, again, you know, it seems to me that some people, you know, those rocks are all there. They could be just picked up and repositioned and actually have some steps made in that area. If we could figure a way to do that with just even the material that's there, it would help the erosion up ahead of it. You know, before those rocks sit there, you know, you can see there's a big gully where stuff has been washing
Yes,
out there, and it's to try to stop that erosion would. If there's a way we can, again, do that without, stepping on any toes or code violations with wetlands and all that.
great,
That would be what I'd be interested in seeing happen.
great. Shoot, Davy?
I've never been there before and it's a really nice spot and I hope that we can make it more accessible to people and available.
Great. Karen, any thoughts?
none.
Okay, I was
So
wondering,
I just, came to mind, I think the last time we got involved with the discussion with Old Maids. Somehow, and I don't know exactly what the connection was, I thought we got involved with the Army Corps of Engineers.
Yep,
On having to, if we did anything in the water.
okay,
And
I wonder if that is related to this group?
Yeah.
The
Okay.
stuff that the grant.
All right, thank you, that's super helpful. Karen, please.
I really think that it would be prudent before anybody comes up with what we're gonna do. That we double check with the Army Corps of Engineer and everything else, because the other thing is. With all due respect, I mean, as soon as North Plain Road is built. You're gonna have 25 families or 16 or 17 families there. That will be within 100 yards. So I think, but I think also before we decide to do anything, we better have a damn good idea of what it's gonna cost, because our budget was cut by a third. So if you wanna add another space and we don't have the money for it, I think that we need to look at this and study it before we make any decisions
Agreed.
off the top, because I think we could get ourselves into an issue.
Great. I wanted to ask one question, Paul. I was wondering if you knew the answer. Do you know why it's called Old Maids?
Hmm?
Do you know why it's called Old Maids?
no, I don't know, and I think anybody that might know is probably dead.
Hence the term, Old Maids.
Well, I would like someone to take on a moment's worth of research to see if they
We
can figure
had
that out.
somebody from that was in that area in Housatonic. Because it was a playground area for, I mean, kids would go swimming in that.
Yeah.
I mean, it was,
Context.
well, I don't,
You got that,
Okay,
Terry?
that's
Thank
fine.
you.
It's
That'd be really
definitely a
great.
turn a lot.
That would be awesome. Thank you. Will you bring that back to us next meeting? Awesome. Okay, that concludes our discussion about Old Maids for today. Um, Paul, do you, want to fill us in a little bit on where we got to with the scoreboard for?
Okay, basically, and I just got information today, so I don't have it, but I have contacted the Wheeler Taylor. Scott wrote and spoke with him about it, and then I followed up with contacting a company which I used to use when I was at the high school, and I just got literally before I came down here, some information, some cost information. So before we go very far, I think that there are 3 individuals or 2 individuals anyway we need to speak with. First of all, it's, get back with Wheeler Taylor and let them know what we found out. And also, we need to speak with the people that are using that field to see if they are going to be willing to be operating a scoreboard that is not like a dime. It's more than a 10-cent scoreboard here, because during a game, someone's gonna operate balls, strikes, outs, innings, all that kind of
It's all
stuff.
done wireless.
And if they don't wanna be involved in it, then spending the kind of money that this could cost us in the long run would be foolish. So we need another few days to be talking to people to see where they stand on the whole thing.
So it sounds like next steps involve talking to Chip and Tom and also talking to Wheeler and Taylor.
Yeah,
And seeing if it makes sense for us to move forward on this at all. Is that correct?
yes.
Everybody okay with that?
It's not a thing we're just.
Sorry, I'm the president of Babe Ruth. I'm happy to have the conversation here as well. And if you guys want to have all the information on what changes we made this year, we're doing a lot with the program. We're doing all-star games. We're doing travel teams out there. We did triple the number of games this year that we did last year. It's also extended now a month and a half longer than it has. I've got meetings for everyone if you want.
Great. We're gonna hope to talk about it in just a few minutes.
Okay.
Sound good? Okay, great. We're good with this forward thing. Thank you, and you'll send that when the time is right, the estimate.
Right.
Okay, great. Soccer, is anybody here from soccer? Hello.
Sorry, I'm late.
Thanks for being here. So this is just meant to be the next step in a conversation
One
about.
moment.
Yes,
What is your name?
Brandon Curtin.
Brandon. Where is Clemente?
Karen, hold on a second.
Hold on. Brandon came here he's here by my invitation and this is not, we're just gonna find out some information today. That's all. Yeah.
So where we are is the commission is returning to the conversation about soccer at Olympian Meadows. And the incident that happened is one part of the conversation about soccer at Olympian Meadows. So I have never met you, Brendan or Brandon? Brendan
Brandon.
with an A.
A-N-D-O-N.
Thank you. Brandon, yes, Brandon was asked here by Bill as someone who plays soccer at Olympian Meadows. Not necessarily, I have no idea what your involvement has been, I'm super curious about that. That would.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, that would be great, just to fill the commission in first, as far as I know, Karen or I did not receive any feedback from a letter that was sent. On behalf of the police and the Parks Commission from anyone who that letter was addressed to. We did not receive a response in any way. So thank you for being here.
For sure.
Would you give us any context that you have?
Yeah, well,
Why don't you sit right up here so Carolyn can hear you?
Sure. Yeah, so I'm a resident of Great Barrington. I own a house here. I started playing soccer actually through Simon's Rock via Bill in the winters, and we started building a really strong community around playing soccer for pickup. And we quickly realized there's just a huge population of people in this area, both just a mix of cultural diversity of people, which is great. And we got word that there was
league that was happening, so I joined one of the teams, which is the South County team that actually was in the last game of the finals where the incident took place. From what I understand, there was an incident prior to our game in the semifinals with the team that kind of created the problem at this game prior, which was a team from Pittsfield. So it was, you know, for the majority of the league, in my own experience, I played like pretty much every game. I like soccer just for fun. I don't do it to win or whatever. It was a really good league. We definitely felt like there could have been like more of like a, what's the word, like foundational rules in terms of like having a stronger representation of like the fact that like violence, number one, should not be tolerable at all in any case. And if there is any of that, there should be some type of rule to say, you're out of here, like we don't tolerate that. And I think moving forward, having some type of ground rule to really articulate that a little better would be helpful, because it definitely got out of hand. So like that game was the final game. Our team was kind of the underdogs, so we were just like, we didn't even expect to be in the finals. We ended up playing really well, and we're playing a team that was like very serious about the sport, quote unquote. And by the end of the game, like we came back and won. And the last incident of the game, one of the team members, who was like a grown man, punched the youngest kid on our team in the face.
Yeah.
And the kid ran off the field crying, and then his family actually stormed the field and kind of pushed the envelope further, which of course, like, once again, there's no reason for violence. It's not a solution for anything, but the conflict really escalated after those two family members went into the field.
Thank you. I'm wondering if you can tell us a little bit more about the league itself.
Sure.
What you know about its setup, who, if anyone, was in charge of both your team and the league.
Yes,
as a whole.
it seemed like in terms of structure, I mean, sorry that I can't articulate everything perfectly, like, each team has like a coach that's like really responsible for the organization of the team, and then of course like overseeing the team during the game.
Yep.
So each team does have a representative for that. Each team had X amount of people playing, a coach, and there was, I think, 3 referees per game.
And these referees are like Berkshire County referees, the same
Yep.
group of referees that ref all the teams.
Yeah.
Nigel's like the head
Yep.
ref.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm gonna speak for myself for just a moment. I am highly motivated to get as much soccer on the soccer field down here in South County as possible.
Yeah.
But I agree with you that under no circumstances is any sort of violence ever acceptable.
Yes.
I'm interested in hearing from you, from your coach, from the
Yeah.
people who are involved in this league, about how we all envision making soccer more accessible for our community.
Yeah.
Whether that means through some major changes in this league,
Yeah.
or major changes in the way pickup runs, or major changes in the way soccer is accessible to humans of all ages,
Yeah.
shapes, and sizes.
For sure.
Do you have any suggestions, thoughts?
Yeah. I think like starting on pickup, like having more of an organizational chart around, like, just like for an example, when you go play tennis in Egremont, there's a sign up sheet for the tennis court, right? For the pitch, that the goals are amazing, so thank you for that, but like, the one thing we're missing is like, you know, there's a lot of activity happening at Olympia Meadows, if it's a baseball game or if it's a football practice going into the fall, from summer to fall. Like having some understanding of when we can play and when we can't, so that like folks the other day we were trying to play pickup, there was like 35 to 40 people wanting to play soccer pickup, which is amazing. But the whole pitch was taken for football practice, and the football coaches are annoyed that we're there. And like, it's not like a big deal, there's no like, no one's yelling at each other, but we get the message pretty quick that like, we can't be there.
Yes.
So we've been playing in Stockbridge, which a lot of the kids actually don't have cars or can't make that commute, and a lot of folks really do live in Great Barrington that
Yes.
way.
Yes.
And it's not like a small group, it's at least 15 to 20 people from Great Barrington, so I think having some type of board or chart or a spreadsheet for times that we can go there would be super helpful for us to just like be able to organize that a little better, and then also like having the field mowed on like a reasonable, like a normal basis, because like every time we go there, the grass is super tall, and that also can create injuries and like cause problems on the pitch. So just having like more routine maintenance of the field, or creating a plan around potential like grading of different parts of it, and just getting it to a better place would be safer for people as well.
Do you have a sense of a handful of people that you have played soccer with, potentially who are Great Barrington residents?
Yeah.
Who might be interested in taking a leadership stake in soccer in Great Barrington?
Yeah, definitely.
I'd love feedback from the board, but I have a real interest in getting some people in this room who are willing to be accountable to this group.
Yeah.
In exchange for making sure that you guys get what you need in terms of making sure that the field is available when you've reserved it, making sure that when there is a maintenance issue, that you have a direct connection to getting that resolved. The problem has been that with the exception of one request to allow for pickup, we have had no awareness of anyone taking any responsibility of what's happening down there.
Definitely, I've definitely noticed that going into last year, like, just like, it would be great to have a point person along with a point person from you guys that we can have a communication line with, just on like turning on the lights or like simple things like that, so we're not all just like.
And requesting
Misinformed.
times for the field.
Yes. Yeah.
So my son Jeremiah plays with you guys sometimes Monday nights, and
Okay,
he
yeah.
told me about what happened that Monday night, and I understand that you guys didn't know that football was approved by this board to use the field at that time.
Yeah.
But I think it would have been totally reasonable for us to request football to move aside hours wise to accommodate pickup, had we known
For
that that
sure,
was like an
yeah.
established plan.
Right, it's just like a simple communication chain, that's like,
Why
there's a
would
gap
ask
there.
football to move if they've been down there for 30 years?
Well, because football actually has like a whole season that they use the field regularly, and there's just 2 weeks a year that they ask for Monday nights.
Right.
And so maybe we ask soccer to move for those 2 Monday nights, or we ask football, if they're able, for those 2 weeks to move a slightly different time. Just like who takes precedence 30 years? How many kids are playing? I mean, these are all things that need to be
Yeah.
worked out. I suspect that had we known that these two groups wanted to play at the same time, the two groups might have been able to work something out between.
Or we could say, hey, we can move it to Wednesday, and like everyone can move it to Wednesday for 3 weeks. It seems like, I don't think Monday's the set in stone. It's just like what kind of, that's how they've been organizing the pickup needs. So it's not like, I think we're set in stone on that day, but it would just be nice to know exactly
Precisely.
when, so we could have the right info to change things.
Great, I see Paul and Davy, but also Joe had something.
Well, maybe you can take a minute and explain how you allocate the field to yourself. You know, there's a parts request form that you have to use and submit here and get approval to use it. Doesn't mean you can't have pickup, but you run the risk that someone else has already got committed to.
Absolutely, yeah, I think we're just like not informed of that type of situation, like we just.
Procedure.
We know there's goals there, and all the kids and folks wanna go use those on a day that works for everyone, so. If we had some type of procedure to follow, then we would totally follow that, you know, just like. I've been playing with these folks for a few years, and it seems like there's no point person really talking to the town. So that's definitely like a part of the issue, for sure.
Yes, Joe?
So, we are a little bit, I'll say at fault here for not communicating well enough. We're supposed to have a town website up with interactive calendar, so you can log on and see when it's available.
No, that'd be great.
People are showing
Yeah,
up, okay?
yeah, that'd be
And then
great.
if you came here and got approval to use it Monday nights for a certain period of time, your name would be on there.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what the game plan is on the website. I finally got everything moving such that, we can use, some help in town hall to create these calendars and manually put them up on the website, and will be interactive at this point, but at least anybody that's approved will see it going forward. But let's say within the next month, we'll have that cleaned up and up there. So
Oh, that's excellent, yeah.
But, you know, if you're gonna operate as a formal organization, you know, the town has insurance requirements and stuff like that. That's a concern if you're stepping beyond pickup and have
Yeah.
organized leagues.
Yeah, and I think the league is great. It seemed like that was like something that people are really excited about, although folks really enjoy just the simple, fun game of pickup
Yeah.
that kind of happens from summer through fall and spring till summer. So, yeah.
Both and both. So just in order, Shu David, did you have something?
No, that wasn't the same comment I was gonna say, but if you want a specific time, there's a procedure to follow. And
Yeah.
it's also the same about the insurance and liability.
Yeah.
Paul and then Karen?
Yeah, I just want to be sure I understand it. Your team is part of this league that is really out of Pittsfield, am I correct?
No, the league is actually Canaan, Connecticut. People are playing. There's 2 teams from Canaan. There's 2 teams from like South County area, and there's like a few teams from Pittsfield. Yeah.
But your team is part of the league that then played recently in Pittsfield?
No.
No,
No.
so that's a different thing?
Yeah.
Than what yours is?
Yep.
Cause that league has been in existence for a mighty long time.
Yeah.
And is an adult league. Yes, men's adult. So yours is something entirely different.
It's a kind of a nuanced thing, yeah, where it's like the new South County League. So
Okay,
there's a Pittsfield, like North County League that happens every year for the
right,
last.
so you're not associated with that?
Not associated with them, no.
In the future, I would think that if they're organized and they have a league structure, they could do exactly the same thing that the football and baseball, softball people do, is to submit a request to us and designate the times that they would like to be able to use it so that we can avoid conflicts with football and stuff like that. And then we go through the process that we've got established for them to be able to use a field, which is now a multi-purpose location.
Yeah,
But I just wanted to be clear.
and that
The
league,
stuff that I saw in the paper a couple of weeks ago, with all these pictures and everything, you're not part of that.
not the North County League, no.
So, just Karen, you're next, and then I wanted to say something, go for it.
What I think would be important to deal with is that before we allow any group to use that they come with a structure and policies and procedures. The other thing is, we could, as the Parks Department, authorize this as a program of the Parks Department, which would alleviate the crap about having an insurance policy
For pickup.
Not the league. no.
But they must ascribe to a certain thing of behavior. It's
Yes.
like in California, they have AYSO rules, you know, for the American Youth Soccer. And you guys deviate from that, game's gone, fans are gone, coaches are gone, kids are gone.
Yeah.
So we can have a parameter that way. That would alleviate the problem of having to have an insurance policy.
For sure, and I think for like pickup, and maybe you guys can help me understand where you're going with the insurance thing, but like. For pickup, there's never been a problem, it's always just for fun, that's where the league was different,
Mhm.
it became, people got serious, which.
Well, and they also
It's-
jumped
it's-
on that, and that was not what they
Yeah.
were given permission to do.
Yeah.
Right, and
That's
so for
part
the
of
pickup,
why.
I think there's 2 things, the pickup, it's great, it's for fun, there's never been a problem, we're just trying to play a game over at the field.
Yeah.
And it's like a bunch of people, it's not an organized league for pickup, it's pickup, people
Yeah.
just come and we play and we have fun. The league is the league where we should have insurance and policy and point people to directly
And rules.
communicate with you guys and rules where, I really think the referees were the ones just trying to hold down a basic rule book of, hey, let's be good to each other and stuff. And they did say that in the beginning of the league, but it wasn't articulated every game and everything. But yeah, for pickup, it's like pickup basketball. You go play at the skate park, no one needs insurance for that. It's just people are going and playing 5-on-5.
Great,
Right.
so Tom, before you go, I'm wondering, again, you sort of volunteered yourself by showing up
Yeah.
tonight. Thank you so
I'm on the
much for doing that. Would you please,
Uh-huh.
figure out in your brain who you suggest coming to us next meeting?
Mhm.
I would love point people for both.
Yeah.
A league, parks usage request, policies and procedures, insurance,
Mm.
and a point person.
Yep.
Who is willing to take responsibility at least for communicating with us and the calendar and that sort of thing.
For pickup.
For pickup.
Yeah.
That is going to follow the policies and procedures that the town is sort of
We should
requiring.
probably develop, and I would suggest that the soccer people, Mr. Norton and Mr. Meyer, could develop the correct policies and procedures for behavior on a soccer field.
Great, I love that.
Yeah.
Does that sound okay?
Yeah, sounds
Yeah,
great.
okay.
And, there's definitely a few people in mind, me included, in terms of being a
Thank you.
person.
Good, that's great.
Because there's a lot of folks that don't speak really proper, good English, and a lot of Spanish speaking folks, and a lot of them are like intimidated to even come to a town meeting just based on X, Y, and Z, whereas I have a few other folks in mind who are really good, like bridges of both communities. So,
Great, please encourage them all to come
For sure.
and we will make sure that everyone somehow understands everything that's going on. It'd be really helpful.
Cool.
I want to get to other people who have things to say, but I also want to say that this is going to be on the agenda next month. So if it doesn't feel like it's moving the conversation around now, maybe we should table it to next month. Good?
Yeah.
We're good. Thank you.
Okay.
May I get your contact information from Bill?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. Okay, great.
Thank you,
Okay,
guys.
thank you so much for coming.
You good?
I just wanted to say.
Yeah.
That the confusion, or one of the things I see, with, is the day or the time we approve.
Yeah.
All the other, cause football, little league and softball come in annually.
It all needs to go on a calendar.
Right, but I mean, that's the time that pickup soccer should also be presented, so at that point, we can hash up just how much time is available, not,
No question.
not make it first come, first served.
No question, absolutely.
I have a question. Is there some kind of like enclosed bulletin board at the fields where we can post the
No.
schedule, a paper schedule, so that,
No, isn't there like a placard, like some sort of bulletin board down on Olympia Meadows? No,
no, we can just, just like a chart with the.
What you want is the same thing that they have up at Lake Mansfield. You want a weatherproof
Mm,
bulletin board. That's what you want.
yeah,
And then that could be a good place to post stuff and a functional website. I mean, we do the Hoosie Dome, we do pickleball, we
Pickleball,
sign
yeah.
up through Team Reach. You
Yeah,
can
right.
easily set something up
right.
that way.
Yeah,
Great.
you can do something like pickleball for online, so that's really quick, but
Mhm.
also just have a paper version. Very simple, that one of us can go in if we have to fill in other usage requests that we approved. Just go down there and there's no mystery.
yes, great, and I think that that's gonna feed into another item later on in the agenda, so will you bring that back up in just a minute? Okay, next item on the agenda is that the select board approved our parks usage fees.
Yeah.
So one of the things that's later on in our agenda is putting those parks usage fees on the parks usage request form. So to be continued, okay? Next, Railroad Street Youth Project, is Devin here?
Yep, he's up.
Thank you. Go for it, Devin. Hi,
Hi, oh, you can hear me? Oh, hello?
you're good.
Oh, okay, sorry, I couldn't see. So I'm here today just to ask, in previous years, RSYP has held their middle school group mentorship program in the Housatonic Dome on Wednesdays from 3 to 5. And it's usually from like the start of October to the like early June. And I'm wondering if it's at all possible if we could switch the day from Wednesday to Tuesday. Keep practically everything the same, just switch the day. I'm not sure if that conflicts with anything or if there's any other people that I should talk to, but yeah.
When are they starting?
Yeah, can you give us the dates again?
Yes, the first date that we would use the Housatonic Dome would ideally would be the 15th
Of September,
of October.
of October.
The
Yes.
only thing that's gonna jam up, and I'm not sure when it is the vaccination plan.
Okay,
That would be the one thing to look at.
Well, don't we usually have a park usage request form to do this?
I don't think that, I'm not sure we've gotten one in the past, but I was gonna.
Yeah,
request-
we have.
Yeah, they did it last year.
Okay, Devin, can you get us a parks usage request form?
You should have one.
He's
I
got it. It's
emailed
right
it
here.
to. Yeah, and it also has the insurance as well. I didn't know if you wanted
Thank
that
you, so
again.
it's just in the wrong part of the agenda.
November 12th of June,
That's okay.
1:30 and 3:30.
Oh, it's right here.
And you just have to learn how to spell Housatonic and you'll be all right.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Thank you, yes,
Um,
we're done.
So anybody know of any conflicts offhand? This is one of the reasons that calendar would be really helpful, but this is so far so good.
What time is basketball?
The only thing you have to look at is basketball starts at 5, and the other thing is the Ruby yoga, and I don't know when they're meeting, she's sort of stopped.
Right, and Carolyn
Okay.
reached out to her but didn't get a response back yet.
Well, it solves that problem.
Yeah, so Devin, a couple of things to just be on the lookout for. One is the vaccination clinic and the other is working with basketball to make sure that they can get in for their time that has already been approved.
Yes, that shouldn't be a problem if they're starting at 5. We usually clean up around 10-15 minutes before
Good.
5 anyway, because we have to drive back to the schools.
Great.
But and then could you remind me, when is the vaccination clinic?
November the 12th, it's a Tuesday from 1:30 to 3:30.
Oh, okay. Actually, I believe that we won't even be meeting that day. I think it's a half day, so
No, because you
that
don't
should be
start till the
perfect.
15th of November,
No.
No, they start out.
October.
October. Yeah, it would jam up. It would butt right up against it, Devin.
Oh, yeah, no, sorry, I'm saying that in my planning, I think November the 12th, the group won't be meeting anyway. So I'm saying that we won't need it that day. We only operate on non-half days for the schools. So if there's a half day, we don't meet.
But I don't
Okay.
think there's a half day on a Tuesday.
I think it's
We'll just,
Just as long as he knows that November the 12th, he can't get there until 1:30
great,
or 3:30.
great. I'll take a motion.
Oh.
Yeah,
Second.
yeah,
And all in favor?
yeah.
Yes, yes, apologies, Devin, for misplacing your parks usage request one. Thank you.
No, all
set.
fine. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much. Okay, great. All right, moving right along to new business. You'll see on your agenda, proposed meeting dates for 2025. Steve and I went through, the select board meetings, and so the room is available, but any issues that you see here? Not yet. Yeah, Tuesday is difficult, but in October, there are basically no Mondays.
So everything is on Monday here except for what it says.
Correct.
Make it work.
Okay. I don't think we need to take a vote on it, right? These are the meetings subject to change, but Carolyn, if you'll add these to the bottom of our agenda, and we're gonna let Natalie know
Good.
for Zoom meetings and for blocking the room.
Yep.
Good? Okay, Chris and Lyndon.
Okay. Hi, everybody.
Whoa. Body slam.
I don't have 9, I think there's 9 of you. I have 9 proposal sheets and maps, but I do have, I think 5 or 6.
That's
So
great.
Maybe just share. And I guess you're. Just the one email or. I did email already. Sure. You do that, actually. that's-
This is the true thing. Yeah, it's on the agenda. Yeah.
This.
All right, so I'm here to make a proposal that I have wanted to make for many, many years, and COVID has changed things. But I'm here to make a proposal to plant trees between the Memorial Park baseball fields and the skate park and basketball court. The reason I'm hoping to do that is for shade and for just like overall comfort of that park. It's like when people use it, it's usually after 3 and it's just scorching with the sun setting in the west. And so trees in between the fields and the park would create like, it would just, I don't know, I think actually more people would hang up there, honestly. And my proposal is for 9 trees. And the reason I'm proposing that is to plant trees in clusters of 3.
in different families or species, so. Be like a cluster of three, that would be 3 different oaks, a cluster of 3, that would be 3 different maples, and a cluster of 3, that would be 3 like riparian Housatonic river edge species that grow really tall. And those ones are the closest to the existing wood edge on the south side, so they would grow tall and, you know, thrive. They just have to, compete with the existing tree that's there for part of the year. That's the proposal.
Thank you. Commissioners, questions for Chris?
this in our budget?
That's the question.
That's-
That's partially why.
That's partially why.
Are you on the tree committee?
Yes, I'm on the tree committee.
So this is the tree committee proposal.
It's my proposal, but yeah, the tree committee supports it for sure.
So do we
We've
have
talked
$2,000
about
in the budget to do this?
It's 45.
So,
4,500.
so from Windy Hill, they budgeted trees that would be like reasonably sizable. And he said, basically you could expect $500 per tree. And there could be smaller trees, more affordable trees, but those are the ones that I imagine are the size and scale that we plant around town. So that's kind of what I'm basing it off of. They're about 6-7 feet tall, inch to 2 inch diameter.
Karen,
Has anybody talked to DPW and the skate park people about where the leaves end up?
So if I may,
Yeah, please.
we did hear from the skaters. Way back when we were having discussions about the park, the issues of leaves getting into the wall. That's gonna be something the commission will have to wade through.
They have to deal with it.
What's happening in, as we speak now is we have feedback from the skaters of what they would like to see in the park for skating elements. I took your tree proposal and that time bond has that all right now. And they're telling me they should be able to have a schematic back to us for the next meeting. So for the September meeting, so maybe instead of voting on this as a standalone item. Table it until so you guys can see the whole thing at once. Then, you know, if you guys agree that the trees are a vital part and that you want to move forward with it. Maybe there's a place we could pick that. Some future construction down there when it's funded to upgrade the park. We have trees until we get a jump on fix. And they grow and
yeah, so one of the questions that I have is like the timing issue, because we're going to be doing construction down there. And what we definitely don't want to have happen is for trees to be planted that are then disrupted or not able to grow properly. On the other hand, I am in support of shade. So that's another piece of this puzzle, and knowing that trees take a while to grow into, you know, like fully functional shade areas is another concern, but I like this idea of waiting until we have a full schematic. Bill, were you gonna say something?
Yeah, just, you know, all these trees besides leaves, you know, you got the acorns, you know, on a good acorn year, they're gonna be all over the place. Which, you know, I'm sure we can figure that out, because I like this idea, but is there a possibility of using like some evergreens? Like white pines, hemlocks, spruces, like.
I mean, leaves are an issue, but they're an issue once a year. Acorns drop once a year for one section of the year. I mean, my understanding is that the DPW probably already has to deal with leaves from the tree line beside the park already, and maybe other things as well. I mean, evergreens are fine. They don't really, like the trees that you could plant that are evergreens don't ever actually become substantial, or they can, but don't ever really become substantial overstory or like shade. Like the white pine is probably the closest thing we have to that, and then they just become, they really never really like get long or wide. They kind of get tall.
Sure.
And lose branches as they go. And then you drop pine cones, and spruce trees drop spruce cones. And so, I mean, I think all trees drop seeds, and oaks just have the worst reputation. For some reason, I'm not sure why, but,
Because they're bad actors.
sure. Yeah, well, they also, yeah, and a lot of the trees that I'm picking are also like ones that will, yeah, last a long time as
Yeah,
well.
sure.
You know, it's kind of. Yeah, no, it's totally relevant, and I hadn't thought about the skate park, you know, having more leaves in it, but, and I imagine. Yes, and yeah, once the leaves drop.
So anyways, I think all that, once we look at that schematic, the commission can consider all of that, you know, because we do need shade down there, and it's a way to achieve it. You know, it does create leaves, but, you know, one of the things we have an issue with down there in the right field area is the trees from the old castle are overhanging the field quite
Right.
far.
Badly.
And we're working on that, the castle, one of the castles going to let us take stuff down and cut things back. We just gotta be on top of this, and the town has to be on top, so everything someone comes to the board and asks for, it just costs time and money, which overtax our people to do, and, you know, that's, we all just gotta be sensitive to that.
And our budget was cut by a third this year, so it's, you know.
So it sounds like, table it for next month,
Make
if
a
you're
motion, we table this until next month.
Second.
all in favor of tabling it? Yeah, Chris, will you come back?
Sure.
Is that great?
Mhm.
And, then we can move on from that. Thank you. Thanks very much. Awesome. That's great.
Joe, how much did it change the schematic we already sent out?
What's that?
Like, how much did that change the schematic we already sent?
David, we're gonna hear about this in just a minute. Yeah, thank you for that, but I think we're gonna get an update from Joe in just a second about that. Gonna try and move through some of these items quickly. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, I just wanted to mention, so the next item on the agenda is just the Tri-Town Connector. I won't say much about it other than, for those people who don't know, this is a town function that is making it easier to, for people who do not have their own transportation or who are not using their own transportation to get around tri-towns. We were talking about this a little bit last month in, relation to parking at Lake Mansfield. And, Deb Phillips is working on this. I mentioned to her the same concerns that we had about not necessarily wanting to bombard Lake Mansfield with many more users, but also wanting people who would be coming anyway to be able to get there without their own wheels. She asked me to bring to all of us the question of what other parks where it might also be useful to have Tri-Town Connector, like a QR code where people could get to the parks through, this is as close to public transportation as we have. And I thought Olympia Meadows is definitely one. But anybody who has feedback about other places that Tri-Town Connector could connect all of these recreational opportunities. She's interested, she's looking for funding that makes it sustainable and also increases capacity. So I'll take feedback now or at any time between now and the next month. She's working on it and I think it's a great idea. But that, Joe brings up the question that Julie was talking about signage down at Olympia Meadows. It would be really great to have a place that we could have that kind of information available to the public. Like, you can take the Tri-Town Connector to get here or to get back from here.
It's really not our job to publicize that, that should come from them.
But if they provide the sign, if we have someplace to put the sign.
There is trouble with Olympia Meadows until we figure it out, there's a whole rash of vandalism down there, and things don't last very long, but not saying we shouldn't do it. Just be prepared.
Okay, great.
The other problem I have with Tri-Town Connector, and I was there in the history of this when it started, is that the amount of deals that are being given now, free ride this, free ride that, and that's all well and good. And I think subsidizing things is good, but this whole idea of people riding for free and not contributing $1 or $2 or whatever. I don't wanna take my park and rec money and do that if the users are getting, they've had no ability to do it. Now they at least have the ability, they can pay something.
Oh, well, for Tri-Town Connector to pay something.
Yes.
Well, I think, Deb was not asking for us to fund anything.
Oh, good.
Not anything.
Good,
In
good.
fact, quite the opposite. She said if we had a clear ask, she would go looking for
Okay,
specific
that's cool.
funding.
That's what I need.
So like if we want to make sure that people can get to Olympia Meadows for pickup soccer, she will help us to figure out how to make that like an important enough.
I read this as.
I did too.
They were looking for
Thank you.
funding from
I-
us. I'm thinking,
No.
We just had our budget covered. Third.
No, I'm not doing that.
Yes, great, excellent, I'll work, thank you, great. Okay, moving on from there. That in the agenda is actually a link to the current parks usage request form that is on the website. There is a brief letter and the blank request form. I've been working on it a little bit and Joe's taken a look at it. In addition to the parks usage fees, is there anything that anyone thinks needs to be added to that form or taken off that form for its next incarnation? Karen, any thoughts?
None.
Okay.
I think it works fine. If people just answer the questions and suit up and show up, we can get the questions answered. I think that's,
And from somebody who's filled out many of these over the years, I don't see any reason to change anything on
Okay.
and of course, if it's gonna be an incarnation, you would be the man to lead us.
All right, so Joe and I will keep working on that and have a new version for next month. Sound good? Okay. I also talked to Joe about the possibility of on the website, the new version of the website, there being an additional form for like a virtual suggestion box / maintenance request form, so that anyone, any citizens out there who are finding that the basketball hoops at the skate park need updating, that there is one way of getting the info to us. So I just wanted to share that with the commission and get any feedback anybody has about that.
it.
Okay. Anything anybody wants to say about that anymore? Okay, next piece is that there are some awfully outdated policies and procedures on the Great Barrington Town website regarding parks. The select board, I believe, is doing an overhaul of policies and procedures. Of this for the select board, and so I thought this would be a good time for us to just start to think about that.
There should be subcommittee.
Yes, please. So I would like volunteers to form a subcommittee to Terry, thank you, and 2 other people, please. You don't understand, great.
I haven't understood what I'm looking for.
Oh, it's not on there, it's on the website,
Oh, all right,
it's a link.
okay, well.
There are 3 or 4.
The weakest link.
Not to worry, there are 3 or 4 pages on the town website that have different policies and procedures regarding parks and parks use. And they don't even list all of the parks. Some of it is it's just outdated because it hasn't been looked at in a very long time. We're
7 years old.
7 years old and things have changed. And so I don't think it needs a major overhaul, but it definitely needs some editing and some looking at it. Terry is tweaking. Terry is on the subcommittee. I will also help with it. Can I have one more volunteer, please? Sure. Thank you, Julie. Okay. We will set up a time to meet and we will come back to you at the next meeting with some thoughts and feedback, but could I please ask everyone on the commission to take a look and send me notes, anything that comes to you that needs to be changed? Yes?
And you'll post the meeting in all where?
Will you? Yes, we will post the meeting and make sure that there are minutes for the meeting that also get posted.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay, great. Parks, care and maintenance. Joe, please.
Memorial Field, we're coming to completion, few little things still to take care of down there. I don't know if there's any questions or concerns with what you're seeing happening.
Must say, I did notice the sign up on the backstop. It looks very, very nice.
The whole thing looks like $1 million.
Oh, yeah, but
Oh, the sign
sticks right out.
just jumps right out.
Coming down School Street and it sticks right out.
Yep, it's good. Nice job.
We used the power rake on the field.
Oh.
The players loved it.
Beautiful.
We've hooked Chip up with a backpack sprayer for his maintenance needs. And he'll get his vinegar solution down from us. So we know the right products are being used. So there's a joint effort that's coming together rather nicely. Looks great. There's a few things left to take care of, painting the dugouts and things like that. But that will.
If nobody has gone and looked at Olympian Meadows, it looks like $1 million. There's no grass. It looks like grown-ups are taking care of it. You guys have done an incredible job in there.
Well,
Did you power rake that
we
too?
power rake that and then we drag it with the mats. So it's
Unbelievable.
gonna go a long ways for taking care of the grass that's showing up and
Yeah.
working with those teams as their season comes around. We do the same thing with backpack sprayers or whatever.
It's
Can I just say
amazing.
one quick thing, since we're on the Limited Meadows, I was there yesterday, it's absolutely gorgeous, but there's a path that goes down to the river, and there's just, I noticed twice I've been there in the last week and a half, there's a big garbage bag on the side of that mowing path. And it's like a big black garbage bag and like something else, like some other
This is
debris.
way down off of the trail.
Is it Olympian Meadows?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
By the-
behind
by
the,
Real
you enter by the softball, the
River.
old,
Riverwalk.
yeah, but past the river.
The junior field
The junior field, so
Yeah.
there's a trail that is
goes
mowed.
down to the river.
Goes down to the river and to the side, it's not so noticeable, as you approach on your left side, there's a big trash bag with some other,
Accoutrements.
yeah, couldn't really tell what it was, I didn't wanna look too close.
Checking.
Yeah, I didn't wanna go too close there, like down to the river and back, so,
The tree fell down too, didn't it?
yes, but it was already maintained, like they cleared that.
All right.
So, Olympia Metals, that you're on it, you know, obviously, we're all feeling some growing pains there, which are good.
Sure.
So I think as time goes on, we're gonna have to just, you know, right now you can drive now between the fields and kind of drive all over, so we gotta get control over that as time goes on. But just something to think about. Grove Street Park, there, we still have a couple left, small pieces to put in up there. Other than that, we're pretty much done. Lake Mansfield, things are coming together nicely.
It looks awful.
Well, I mean, as much as we didn't want the lake shut down because of the E. coli problems, it gave it some breathing room to grow.
Worked out well.
Really.
We have a pretty, structured geese control.
Very nice.
I have
and
noticed less.
There's.
Thank you, Joe.
I haven't seen,
Aberdale.
I haven't seen a goose there.
Yeah,
There's been a couple families that stop and visit, but they don't stay.
What's been,
And no,
There's a new
no,
buoy out there.
no goose is getting hurt either. So,
Aversive training.
Oh, there's a light up there.
We have special blinking lights. We have the Joshua Light Show on the lake.
So if you're gonna give us, you're gonna, yeah, Lake Mansfield, are we good?
I'm good on Lake Mansfield, unless someone's got specific
Everybody-
questions.
I got one. thing.
I do, I was wondering, do we have the budget to, bring in more coarse sand to like mix up that clay top?
No,
We won't do anything till after the season,
next year, maybe.
you know, yeah, we have to do something at some point because there's a little bit of an issue with the water coming down, white, washing out the walkway and then eroding the beach, so we gotta figure out how to fix that. You know, when you always ask for budget, there's budget money, but it's got, you know, it's gotta be prioritized and used appropriately.
Can't go in 7 different directions.
That's right. And then you had a question on.
No, that's our own say, that's, but we've gotten some pretty crazy rain too, so, you know, it's been a challenge in many
Yeah.
places, so. Considering how much we've got, it's looking pretty good.
You know, the solution may be that the walkways that are stone dust have to be paved.
That's
This way here, we can control the water and push it off into the grass versus the beach. So that might be the solution. So we've looked at it, and just haven't had anything out down other than that.
Sure.
We've seen some changes up there with rocks on the side of the road to control parking. I don't think there's been too much of an issue since the little problem we had up there. Anything else on well, skate park? We talked about kind of where we are and what's coming your way. As soon as I get my hands on it, I'll get it out to everybody. To answer your question, I don't know what deviates much, you know, from what you were talking about originally. And then the trees that are being proposed don't appear to impact, and I think we looked at it quickly, they don't appear to impact any proposed work at the skate park. Now, clearly, there's no money in the budget for that this year, but we can do the design, get feedback, get the green light from the commission to move forward to do the design, and then we can work on funding.
I also think that trees are a naming opportunity. If we can get the right trees, And
Do you have any plans to
$500 a tree.
put any money into for CPA from the parks?
Yeah, well, we talked about,
Yeah.
trying to get half of
When you
CPA,
had-
half fund, half of the skate park.
That's what I'm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I understand the focus for CPA is gonna be historic buildings and open space.
It's going to be town assets.
Great.
Great, thank you. Damon, did that get to that answered your question?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
I don't know if we have to redo the design, but
No.
That's great. Excellent. Cool. Citizens. Who is here to speak to us?
I have a question.
Yes, please. Would you introduce yourself again and then?
My name is David Morse. I'm a resident of Housatonic.
Yep.
For the Tri-Town Health of the Connector,
Mhm.
is there an age limit for that?
As far as
Like if I was a 50-year-old kid, could I call and like, hey, can you drop me off at the skate park?
yes,
Thank you.
yes.
That is a huge.
If you have any issue with age or requests, you make sure that you get in touch with Chris Renbold
Right away,
directly.
but they could just call and.
The way it should work is they can either ask for dispatch or there's an app, okay?
Jared took the Tri-Town connector to the mountain
Yeah,
last winter.
this is great.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep, really great. Anybody have anything else?
I mean, I wanna just let you all know what we've done and give you my contact information if you have any
Please.
questions on Babe Ruth or
Great,
what we're doing with the program.
Thank you.
We're really trying to expand out. We're growing every year. We'll have 4 or 5 teams next year. It's 2 pages each, but there should be enough to go around. But Luke there, and I think over from Chip this year, he's still heavily involved, but he's doing a lot more with Logan as well.
Luke, is your contact information on
It
that
is. I've
sheet?
got both my email and phone number on there, and please ignore the 919 number. I grew up here, I graduated from Monument and the Searles, but I got that phone down south, so.
That's
All
right.
right, we'll still talk.
Ask a question,
Yeah.
are the 4 to 5 teams of kids from Great Barrington?
No, there's 2 teams, maybe 3 teams of kids from Great Barrington and Housatonic and Sheffield, and then we've got a team out of Lee and a team out of Lennox as well. This year we had 18 or 19 kids for Great Barrington. We had actually turned down some kids
That's
this
great.
year, and we're.
I'm not believing that you had to turn people down, but that there's.
No,
There's
we're,
interest.
yeah, we grew 15%. I'm expecting another 20% next year, and we're actually not losing a lot of players to nearly as many players to Legion as we initially were thinking of, so. We're trying to reduce retention. We've increased competitiveness. We now actually play all of Berkshire County, so we play up in Pittsfield and North Adams. They come down here. That's why having a scoreboard would be great. We're also in the All-Star, doing the Babe Ruth All-Star Tournament, and we'll have a home game every year, and we're doing other tournaments as well. So there will be more. This year is a bit of a shuffle.
I know, it's nice to know that.
Can I see you before you leave?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted, yeah.
And thank you. Thank you for doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
We appreciate that.
Well, thank you all, and thank you for Memorial Field. It's looking great, and we can't wait to play there. We were there on Saturday doing a wiffle ball tournament for the end of the season for the All-Star team, but fall ball starts on Wednesday, so we'll be using the field.
Question,
Yes.
in reference to using that field, how do you plan after a game is over or practice is over to keep it looking sharp? What is Babe Ruth gonna do to help maintain it?
We're gonna be doing a lot of what Chip has been doing already in the past. My son and my wife were there meeting like last week
I
and
saw
stuff
you.
as well, so.
What I would like to do, if we could sort of bring this up, because the amount of money and time and labor and effort and love that's been put into that field. Joe, is there a 1-page we could do of how you take care of the field? The proper, it's like, we're gonna spray with the stuff, if you're gonna weed it, you're gonna dig up less than 3, just because. I mean, I remember when Paul and I did it, I spent 65 hours doing it. And now that we've got the right equipment, it would be really great that everybody's on the same page, saying, after a game or after practice, 25 minutes, 5 people, we're good.
Absolutely. I can tell you that Pittsfield, I have their rules because I work a lot with Dave Wild Goose up in Pittsfield, and they've got a protocol for before game, home team and
Good,
away
I
team.
want you to get it to Joe.
Okay.
Yes, please.
And also to Paul Gibbons, I want this, so it's like, nobody would have any question about how things would be done.
Absolutely. The only thing in there that they have is they talk about the tractor use and dragging the field. I need to just understand who can do that, who's allowed. I mean, I haven't picked up everything from Chip yet.
We do have a tractor, but I don't know how Joe wants to handle that,
Right.
and I think that that's further down the line, but let's just get the basics. now.
Yes, please. And longer term, I think Joe and I sort of just touched on this, of like expectations for all of the teams.
Yes.
And there being a sheet that is very, you send in a parks usage request with your fee, and we give you this piece of paper that says very clearly our expectations, both what we will provide and also
Yep.
what the team will
And that
provide.
person is responsible to make sure all the coaches know. what
That's
their-
correct.
What their room is.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, great. Joe, did you have more questions for them?
That was my question, is the
Okay.
expectations, because Chip does a great job down there. He's spoiled a lot of the users.
Yeah.
But it sounds like, and correct me if I'm wrong here, the intention is to create a fee structure so that we can offset maintenance or do different things like that. So if you're gonna do in-kind services, I assume fees going down or away.
Yes.
So it's not a money making thing.
Yeah. But it is a way of getting clearer with expectations from both sides.
Absolutely, and I'd like to know that too, because we want to make sure we're keeping the costs down. We play as many games as a lot of the other travel teams around here at 5% of the cost. So we have, 30 games, 5% played in 3 different states. So, there's a lot there, but I want to be able to keep that down. But if there are those fees, we do want to be able to roll those in, because we lean a lot on our players to raise money. And
I think it's important, I think it's important that we should always have a fee. It doesn't have to be exorbitant, it doesn't have to be crazy, I don't care if it's $100 for the year. And I think it's important that they do contributory effort. That's just the way it is, boys and girls. We do not when we lose a third of our budget, everybody, it's like user sweat equity. It's like Habitat for Humanity. You want to live in a Habitat house, you're gonna help work it. If you wanna play, and, cause the amount of parents I see drop kids off and leave,
So,
forget it. It's time, get your knees dirty.
so we've got, I
That's the
think
way
we've
it
got
is.
steps.
That's the way it is.
It doesn't have to be that way.
Well, Louise, you're gonna change it?
Hey, guys.
Yeah.
This is not the time. We have a fee structure that is built to start to talk about this.
Yeah.
We have a subcommittee that is built to start to work on policies and procedures that can include the expectations of teams using the field.
Yeah.
So I think we're in good shape to move this along. I think these are very, very important pieces of the puzzle that have to have to evolve with the changing times. So thanks for being here
absolutely.
and see you very soon.
Sounds good.
Joe, are you good with Luke or one
Just
more?
one other thing is, I just breeze through this quickly, but it's very important that the commission knows what you do for the community, in a sense that how many people you serve, how many
Yeah.
residents you serve. So
I've got all of those stats from the
A
very beginning
census,
of the
yeah.
year. So I have that to show all the different towns and how many players from each group.
I
So
work with basketball, they put it together, maybe I'll find that.
I have that for you. I can send it.
Good.
Yeah, I've
Perfect.
got all those. And I will also say that part of what we're doing here too is not just about baseball, but also about building good people and the character there. So, we're trying to, this year we had players that went down and volunteered with Little League. So those are the all-star players, and we have high school players that come and help us. So we can do more of that as well in the field with part of being able to play these sports is you have to put in time outside as well. So.
You're building a
that's
community.
Absolutely, yeah, it really is, and especially now with baseball, a lot of the different competition, we really want to build that symbiotic relationship between Little League to Babe Ruth to high school and be able to keep all of that there, so.
Thank you very much. Thanks for
Connection.
being here.
Thank
I'm mindful of the time. Garrett? Garrett Happ, if you can hear me, you can speak.
Hello, can you hear me? Yeah, hi. So I was a little late getting my park usage request form in. And I was curious if there was like any route that I could take that it would still get approved. If not, I'd totally get it. I dropped the ball. So
So Garrett and I spoke earlier and talked about the procedure that needs to happen in order for him to have any sort of parks usage allowance. But I also know that the town allows the chair and the town manager to make exceptions when they come in between meetings. So I asked Garrett to be here anyway to understand the policies and the procedures, and also so that the commission can take a look and see if there are any conflicts that you know of for this day that he would like to have a basketball tournament. Would you tell us very quickly what the basketball tournament is about? We've
Do we
done
have
it in the
paperwork
past.
on it?
We have a parks usage request that didn't make it into the packet because it came in late.
Yeah, so I did one last year. It was great, and everything worked out perfectly. People had a lot of fun. A lot of people showed up. And then I actually did another one in the wintertime in the Hoosie Dome at a smaller scale, which also was great. And I had a referee there and everything. And the one last summer, I refereed the games. This year, I want to do less teams, less people, smaller scale kind of a thing. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Just getting people that I usually play basketball with anyways out there to have fun and have a good time. So.
Just for clarity's sake, as if I remember correctly, it is August 31st.
Yeah.
At skate park basketball courts. When we spoke earlier, you mentioned that you already had like 2 teams and you were hoping for maybe 2 more for this basketball tournament.
As of right now, I believe I have 4, and I was hoping for maybe 4 more. Last year I had 12. Okay. So yeah.
So does anyone on the commission know offhand of any conflicts with this basketball tournament? So what I told Garrett was that he needs to have an insurance certificate to us and understand our expectations of how he leaves the basketball court. And as far as I know, there are no other if there are no other conflicts, my inclination is tomorrow when he reaches back out to me in between meetings, I will make an exception and allow this basketball tournament to happen. Any concerns about that? We're not voting.
Because he's done it in the year span last year.
Thank you for,
We have new hoops on order, but I don't have a delivery date, so they're probably not gonna be here.
got it, but thank you. That's great. Garrett, did you hear that? Oh, he's already, yeah. Will you unmute Garrett again?
Sorry,
Garrett, did you hear that?
I got disconnected.
So I just said, when you and I talk tomorrow, we'll be good to go. I'm gonna just go with that. I think that's great. Okay, I think, any other citizens want to speak? Yeah, great. Please. Don't worry about it, Garrett, you're good.
I was here with my brother.
Okay, sorry.
I run a pro wrestling company. I run shows monthly in Pittsfield, family friendly. And he wanted me to come with him to hand in the insurance certificate, but as far as where and all that stuff, I'm just the entertainment.
Yeah, how you doing, guys? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
I apologize. I had to leave. The weather got a little intense and I had to go get my kid. But what I did want to say is, so my name is Jeremy Thompson. I have lived in Great Barrington for about 15 years. I coach at the Hoosie Dome. My kids have been through the Hoosie Dome. My youngest is there now, so I pretty much know the kids. I know Matt Chamberlain. I've coached for Patrick Canada for numerous of years, and he's coached my kids as well. So I'm pretty familiar with the Hoosie Dome. I know Cherry Chamberlain, Mr. Terry as well. So what we want to do is, I know that the Hoosie Dome has been a savior for the kids for a long time. My son Emmanuel, who's in high school now, I took him to Poughkeepsie to see wrestling. That was the farthest it was the closest that we could get to wrestling around here. You know, I bumped into the bro who's there sitting with you guys now, who has been doing wrestling in all different types of areas in Pittsfield, and he was a neighbor. So I thought it was an idea to bring it down to Great Barrington, thought about the Hoosie Dome, and so this is where We know that how to get a park request and really, to see, the process, what it is that we had to fulfill it.
Great, Jeremy, you're cutting out a little, but I think we got the gist of it. So just to reiterate what I mentioned to you before, there is a parks usage request on the town website that can be submitted with a certificate of insurance with the request of days and times that you'd like to use the Hoosie Dome or any other park. And then we ask that you come to our next meeting so that we can discuss it. Does that sound good?
Yes, absolutely, and I'm slacking on that because I actually had the paperwork.
So Jeremy, you're cutting out, but we'll see you next month in September. The date for the next meeting is September 16th here at 5:15.
Okay, thank you very
Paperwork
much.
has
I
to
will
be
be
handed
there.
in well before.
Yes, the paperwork
week
needs to be to us a week in advance because it needs to be on the agenda and posted.
Okay, I actually have the paperwork filled out, and that's what I have with me tonight. The only extra paperwork that I needed was to add Jerry's insurance. So I will make sure I get that to you immediately.
Great,
There you
thank
go.
you so much. Any other
I
citizens?
appreciate it. Yep.
I have a question. Now, I usually don't get the insurance like 10 days before the event because the insurance is so expensive. And I use the ticket sales to,
Fund it.
there you go, thank you for helping me.
Yeah.
But I had my insurance guy print up, I got caught in the rain, that's why I was in my pocket. You know, you wanna see it, it's just a proposal.
Yeah, I think sometimes you can have insurance that doesn't kick in until.
Yeah,
Okay, this is I know this company, what you wanna do is just give them a deposit, a $50
Yeah.
deposit with a date.
well, yeah, it's,
Okay,
as he was on the phone, that's what he was like for me, so,
that's what I did for a living, so that's the way you get it. Okay.
Perfect.
so,
Thank you so much for being here.
thank you for helping me.
A motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. I think we're done. Thank you guys so much.
You're welcome. Well,